Hey guys, how you doing? So today, it's Saturday, the 7th, and we're gonna be. I just got done putting up the 340. I just fed the calves some feed, putting their feeder, and now I'm gonna get the 40, the little loader tractor. I'm gonna get it started up. I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna get the corn, the little feed wagon. I'm going to hook it up so it'll be ready, because we ran out of feed in the grinder. They have some, but we ran out of feed, so we'll have to get some tomorrow. Or we'll get some today, but we'll have to grind some tomorrow so we can have that ready to go. But I also need to feed the cows some corn so they have a little bit of corn, because all they have is hay. And so every now and then we'll feed them some corn and balance that out a little bit. So that's what we're doing today. And then I think this is going to be part 2 of the 7140 build, or rebuild. And I'm gonna be in there in the shop. I'll do a couple things on it while Dad's gone, and clean some things up on it. So I'll show you in there, and I will explain a couple things while I'm in there. So let's get rolling on this corn, shall we? Okay, we're back here at the shop. And get everything good out there. So here's what we got going on. Heads off, pistons out, sleeves are out. Everything's drained, everything's out, pretty much, anyway. You see here, we got everything laying here. All the big stuff laying there, and all the pretty much the stuff like that needs in order and clean and stuff, and pretty much important, all up here. And we got the manifold and the muffler and everything over here. It's not really too important, so bad that it has to be on the table. But the head, we sent it. We took it to a guy over there. He's gonna look at that, make sure we don't need to buy a new head. It's good. If it's good, then we're gonna, I don't know, I'm not sure, but we also need to look at the crank shaft and the cam, make sure they're all good, because if the head's not good, we're going to take this out and put in a not a brand new engine, but a reman, which means it's remanufactured. It's been through everything. It's just a used, rebuilt engine, basically. That's only if the head's not in good shape, if we have to buy a new head, because that'll just put us at about the same price. So that'll be better for us. So what we're going to do today is, I think we got everything laid out on the table here. As you can see, everything's in order. When you take stuff apart, especially like pistons and everything, you want to lay them in order. Make sure they're all, in specific order and good to go. So I'm probably going to take these and stuff like this over to the parts washer. I don't know yet. I might just wash them by hand. But what I really need to do is I'm going to have to get under here, and I'm going to have to, well, I can't sweep it up yet, but you can see it better, but I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a bunch of crap and gunk. I'll have to get a light under here, but I gotta take a scraper to that stuff and get it off so that it's all clean. I gotta clean up under there. I gotta get the gasket out of the oil pan, or where the oil pan was, the oil pan gasket. As you can see, all that stuff, it's just gonna get cleaned off, and up there, all of it needs cleaned, and back there too, and everything like that. So that's what pretty much all I'm going to be doing today. Get all of it nice and clean. It's going to take a while. We'll just probably put some of it in there and have some of it fall on the ground. We'll sweep all this up when we're done, and that'll work all right. The reason there's so much floor dry is because, well, let's just show you. We drained the antifreeze and the fuel and the oil and all that. Well, we didn't really drain the fuel, but it came out. But we were looking for a fuel shutoff, but on this tractor there is no fuel shutoff. So we had to improvise and put vice grips. So long story short, that's what made the biggest mess probably, but that's a very, very big mixture of fuel, water, and other things. Oil, pretty much everything. We got the oil out, but it probably had some, because what we do is that's our big oil pan, and then we have an oil pan over here. And what we do is we usually dump all the oil in that, and then that's the small oil pan. We usually just dump it all in that, and I don't know what we had a divider in there. We were going to put a divider in there somehow. That way we had used oil, clean oil, or we were going to put it where we had used, dirty oil, just, straight in there, and then used clean oil, where we kind of went through and kind of cleaned it and stuff. We were going to have that where reusable, but we didn't really get there, so not sure what we're gonna do with it when it's full. Probably send it somewhere, I don't know. That was probably a good purchase, and so we got that. But yeah, so that's pretty much everything we got going on that for the progress for part 2. So I guess to start off part 2, we're going to be cleaning some crap off the bottom part of the engine. So let's get to it. So I think I got the bulk of it. Anyway, I might dig at this a little more, but probably not gonna record it because it's not really the best or the easiest thing to record on camera. So but there's gonna be more, either way, whether we have to get a new engine or if the head's okay, either way there's gonna be more to watch. So I'm sure this vid's gonna be continued on. Probably for me, it probably won't be for a couple of days or so, but hopefully the head's okay and we can just keep tearing and, well, not tearing, but keep working on this. But if it's not, then that's fine. We'll just probably end up taking a couple more things off of this, but not too much. And then what we have to do is basically from about here to about here, we just got we're probably just gonna strip it. We're not gonna strip it, but we're gonna go straight through and just redo a bunch of things and just work our butts off to fix all the hydraulics because there's a lot of leaks. We pulled this in and that was all, yeah, she just did. That was before we drained it and everything. So it leaks all the time. We can't fix it. So we're just going to redo all the lines and everything. And we're just going to do it now while we're redoing everything else. That way we can get it done. We're going to redo all the lines. See, you can see they're all what they came with except for these. I think just those, because those were replaced and last spring when we were planting corn. And the biggest reason we're going to redo it right now, right here in the shop while it's all here, is one, preventable maintenance, and two, it's a pain in the butt to do in the field, and you might as well just get it done and over with now. We may redo a few things of the way we put it on. We may just build a couple brackets and stuff to make it easy to fix, because the way they have it is the dumbest thing ever. And I do like these tractors. I think they look good. I think they do good, but they were designed terribly. I really do think they were just poorly designed and not good. I don't like the engine in them. I don't like Cummins. I've never had a problem with Cummins, but I've never worked on Cummins until I started helping my dad work on a bunch of them, and every single one just not designed good. They're just they're just bad. I'll pick an Air National, a Cat, or a Detroit over them. Air National, my preference, just because I know more about them. But I'd definitely pick a Cat and a Detroit. I'd pick a Cat over Detroit, Air National over all of them. But I'd pick a Detroit over a Cummins. I'd pick them all over a Cummins. But that's me. Everyone has their own beliefs. But that's what we're going to do. But the way they have this is, just tell you what happened last year. Last year, we were in the field. Dad was planting. I was working ground at the time. Actually, at the exact moment, I was mowing a yard for a neighbor. And it wasn't even... Heck, you could see... we could see each other when he was in the field, because the field is right next to them. The only time we could see each other is when he was over the hill. But he not even 10 acres left of the field. We were right there, almost done. He was planting, and the main supply to the power steering blew. So, of course it was spraying, so he had to shut it down. Well, he shut it down, and, the rain was coming, so he got out of there. Well, of course, it was in the back of the field, hardest plot to get to it. No one had the hose. So it rained, and it was in the wettest spot of the field, so we couldn't get to it. And finally it dried up a little bit, and rain was coming that night. And so Dad took the big loader tractor, put a bunch of tools in it, took the loader out, put a bunch of tools in it, and then him and a buddy drove up there. And they got up there, and they were trying to get on. They couldn't figure it out, so they called a guy up at Berkey's, Davey Dye. He asked him how does he get it off. He told him, well, you gotta jack up the cab. Because you have to jack up the cab to get in here to get to it, which is a dumb design, because there's no access for it at all. You'd think they put a panel in the cab or something to get to it, and they didn't. But they finally figured it out and got it off without jacking off the cab, because they couldn't, not in that wet field. There was no way. But they ended up getting it off, and worked out. But it's just dumb. They should have made an access for it, but it is what it is, I guess. It's just not the same tractor that was before this. I don't really know for sure, so I really can't say too much, but from what Dad tells me, they all went wrong after the 80s. When it hit 90s, the engineering and tractors just terrible, just didn't go right at all. It just... And that's not just with International or Case or nothing. That was with a lot of brands too. John Deere did it with combines. Tractors, they weren't too bad, but they weren't good. But the combines were the worst part of it, because they started making them thinner and thinner after the 90s, or after the 80s into the 90s, after the I think it was a 60-50. You'd have to probably correct me, but after those series, they just kept getting thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. And if you go up today, one of my dad's buddies, he's a mechanic, and he's got one of those I'm not sure what they call it, but you put it on, it tells you the thickness of the metal. And you can put it on a John Deere, then go put it on pretty much any other brand. New Holland, Gleaner, Case, trying to think of something else. I don't know, but any of those, and they're almost twice the thickness of what it is. And Dad was welding 2 years ago. He was welding on a what they call them, a Sari series. It's the S series of John Deere combines. They call them Sari series because they're so thin, and they were just poorly engineered and built. But he was welding on one of those, and with a MIG welder on the lowest setting he could get it, he kept burning through. But he finally got it. But yeah, they're very thin. And that was only on 1,000 hours. And people were saying that 1,000 hours, a lot of grain goes through a combine in 1,000 hours, but 1,000 hours is 1,000 hours. And still, we got the 2388 up there, and we had the 2188 for 10, maybe 12 years. And heck, it didn't even have that much trouble, and it had a lot more, hours and things on it than that John Deere, and it wasn't even worn hardly. But we don't have that anymore. I really wish we did, but unfortunately that caught fire in I believe it was a bean field. No, was it wheat? No, I think it was bean, but for custom hire, and it burned up there a couple 3 years ago now. I think 3 years ago. Yeah, it burned up, unfortunately. So yeah, that was quite a thing. I'm still mad. I don't know. Dad's not happy about it. We both wish it was still here, because if it was still here, wouldn't have as much problems as we do with, because now, of course, it affects him a lot more, obviously, but he went through that 2188, and of course, it was over a time period of 12 years, like I said, but he put a lot of things in that combine. They're basically brand new combine. It was a really good combine, but we ended up saving the header to it because the bean head was on. So we saved that, but the only thing we had to do to the bean head was we had to replace the sickle on it, because it was all broke. Because what happened is he had to leave it up, and as it was up there, when the fire got to the hydraulic lines, it dropped and slammed on the ground. I think there was one light on that combine. We had just replaced every single light on that combine. I believe that it was that year. With LED lights, brand new, everything. And one light, we saved one light, and that was the auger light. So, to finish that harvest year, we just leased because I think all we had was custom hire ground left, but we I think maybe a couple fields of ours, but we just leased a 2388 from Berkey's, and then we ended up bought a R23, our combine now, 2388. I don't remember where he bought it from, but we bought it for I know the price, but I'm not going to say. But we bought that, and let's see, the first year we bought it, we redid the whole thing. I mean, we redid the engine pretty much, rebuilt it almost. And then it was blowing smoke, blue smoke, I had to blow by, I think. I had to blow by in the muffler sometimes. So we ended up fixing it and everything, and did a couple things to it over the winter, and then we used it this fall. Well, this fall, as you probably know if you saw my videos, the engine blew because the piston ended up failing on us. So yeah, pretty much that's what happened there, and that was pretty bad. We ended up having we were down for quite a while because of that, but we ended up getting it back going. We didn't use it much though, so we pretty much had everything out, I believe so. But we got it, ended up finally getting it, but it took forever. But a lot of hard work and everything. But the biggest problem with 7140 is the reason. Might be wondering why we're taking it down right now. We're tearing it down. The biggest reason is it'd be sitting there on idle. It'd just be sitting there blowing blue smoke. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, which is a good sign. If you ever see something, it's a good sign of a head gasket leaking, or, is when you throttle up, it blows white smoke. So, Dad when we were working on the combine last fall, Dad went to use it we just put the vertical tail on, and he went and tried it out to see if it'd pull it. And he was going to, if it pulled it, we were going to maybe sell the Steiger and get another smaller tractor, maybe a 7120, or smaller tractor to have for baling, baling and planting, use this one for tillage and big stuff. But it started overheating, so he figured, of course it was on the grain cart, so he figured, well, it hadn't been blown out in a while, blow out the radiator. Well, as he was doing that, he realized that head gasket was blown and leaking, so it blew head gasket. So we didn't use that for a while. We actually parked it for a while, but then while we were finishing up harvest, after the engine, I think, after the engine, we ended up trying it, and we put some fluids in it and just tried it, and it ended up lasting us for the rest of the fall and everything. And so we finally got it in here, and now we're taking it down. So it works, but just didn't run it too much and didn't overheat it or nothing. So that's my rant, I guess, going on for about 20 minutes here. So I'm just trying to decide whether I should upload this, make it part 2. It was very short, but it'll be a long video considering this. Or if I should add a couple videos to this, I'm not sure yet. Because it's going to be a while before I get another video recorded because of, I don't know how long it's going to be before we get back to work on this. But yeah, that's pretty much the history of that, and that's really not a lot, but that's some, I guess. I could go on for hours on this, but I'm gonna end it here, guys. So I appreciate you guys, y'all watching, and hopefully if you liked it, hit the like button. You know, it helps me out. I don't know. I'd rather have less views and you know, have everyone like it rather than more views and let no one like it, you know. So I really appreciate when you guys hit that like button. So I want to thank you all. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I will see y'all later. So thank you all for watching. See you later.